Seriously, on the Rod Pedersen Show.
I can't tell you when's the last time I got so serious about something like this Slapshot remake discussion. And we've had some really good ones coming in here. Jeff in Winnipeg, Camilla says the Baldwin brothers for the Hansons. Wayne in Victoria agrees with my Zach Galifianakis as Denis Lemieux. Denis Lemieux continuant sa saison. Who would be Dickie Dunn? I feel like Elliot Friedman should play Dickie Dunn. But I think that Billy Bob Thornton is a slam dunk as Reg Dunlop, because this is a very, very important role. This would be the role that might define Billy Bob Thornton's career.
It's the role.
It's the role. And I will go along with Billy Bob Thornton as Reg Dunlop. That's how big of a fan I am of his and of Reg Dunlop's, and nobody has come close to anybody else.
Somebody mentioned Steve Carell. Steve Carell maybe is Jim Carr.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
He could be Jim Carr. That works for me.
No. The guy whose idea this was in the first place, Robin Wildy, he's watching in PA. He says Liam Neeson as Joe McGrath. Liam Neeson's way too cool to play Joe McGrath. Way too cool. Hey! John in Winnipeg. John Ohm. Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
As Joe McGrath.
Yeah. Slam dunk.
Perfect.
Oh, how about that? Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Ryan McCarthy, watching in upstate New York, says, why does Saskatchewan have the best town names? Paradise Hill, Moose Jaw. Well, he says Flin Flon, and that's actually Manitoba. And frankly, I'm partial to Medicine Hat.
How about that?
I also learn something every day. We learned today that Flin Flon, Manitoba stands for Flint Tibeti Floniton, a fictional character from a 1905 novel.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It sure is. Happy Monday, Canada and Canadian sports fans around the world. Welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show. It is episode number 622 of Canada's daytime sports talk show. Hope you're ready to have some fun. We've got a lot to get to here in the warm-up. And because it's Monday, the photo album is coming up, and we got some gooders. I can hear some fumbling around in the bunker back in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. So let's bring him in here, the Ted Lasso lookalike, Darren Moose DuPont, the president and CEO of DuPont Media. How you doing, Moose?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
Very well, very well. I'm ready to have some fun today. We got some old friends. We got some new friends coming on the program today. Coming up in hour one, Tori Gurley, our NFL insider, is going to be joining us from Columbia, South Carolina. Looking forward to that. In hour two, Shawn Thornton, the Florida Panthers chief commercial officer, is going to be joining us. His book, Fighting My Way to the Top. As you've noticed, I've been tucking in, reading that, and we'll be talking about that book. We'll be talking about a big loss for the Panthers on Saturday night. But there'll be a lot of football, a lot of ball for all today here on the program. But let's jump right into it, okay? Let's get into the photo album, because I hope that you have submitted some photos. I certainly submitted mine. And producer Clark, who I don't think is with us right now. Jordan is flying the Millennium Falcon back there in the bunker. So
that's right.
Can we get to the photos, guys, for Great Western Brewing Company before we go any further from our weekend? Yep, let them roll, Jordan. Put them up there if you don't mind. I don't know in what order they're coming. So, Darren, you may have to narrate over these. Okay. That's mine. South Beach, Sunday afternoon, a little stroll. No, I didn't go to the Dolphins game. There's a story behind that, but it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas and summer here on South Beach, Florida. Moving along. What else do we have? This was going to be a big story. If this is my photo coming, yeah. Okay, how you guys took that one. Saw my little buddy Ebbs. Seattle Kraken Saturday night taking on the Florida Panthers in a wild hockey game. We're going to be talking about that. It was nice to rekindle friendships with Jordan. the former Regina Patton, voted the greatest World Junior ever to be produced by this country on the TSN poll. What else do you got? Let's keep rolling. Let's go. Chop, chop. Oh, this is a very popular shot, Darren. Explain.
Yeah, this is me and my dad. We were at the curling. Mom was there too, but Dad and I had an original 16 beer at the curling trials in Saskatoon. They came into town for a few days, so that was really awesome. And I think there's one more shot of what I did on the weekend when I finally put my feet up. The only other piece of business I did is I went out and purchased, we went and picked up our Christmas tree on the weekend. So I'm not sure if we have that photo or not, or if this is, there to go. So that's our empty Christmas tree. Hasn't been decorated yet, but that was literally the extent. The rest of it was spent feet up on the couch, so it was good.
You deserved it. If anybody deserved the break, it's you. Our photo album is brought to you by Great Western Brewing Company. Extra smooth, extra refreshing. Find Original 16 at a store near you today. Oh, that's the jug viewer submitted with the women's rep for the Olympics for Canada, Jennifer Jones. I see that. Thank you for sending that, Pat. Do we have any other viewer-submitted photos? What do we got? Oh, this is from producer Clark's dad. I saw this on social media from Rod Monroe saying something along, well, that was Clark's photo? Okay, he must have been sitting with his dad, Rod, at the playoff game yesterday. Good. So there's our photos, and that's an oldie, isn't it? Or is that a new one?
That's an old one.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's good to show it again.
Okay, good. Yes, exactly. So there's our photo album, a wonderful weekend for all. Okay, can we hit the quick six show horn? Gordon needs his hands back there, but he's got them all. Okay, let's jump right into it. Point one, it's Canada's daytime sports talk show. We got to talk about the CFL divisional semifinals. We'll start. Point one is the West. It wasn't perfect, but the Saskatchewan Roughriders reached the CFL's Western final with a 33-30 double overtime victory over the Calgary Stampeders at Mosaic Stadium. In double overtime, after two runs by Willie P., William Powell, Brett Lowther kicked a 34-yard field goal to propel the Riders into the Western Final, which will be at Winnipeg next Sunday. In the game, the Stamps and the Riders combined for 8 turnovers, 6 of which came in a sloppy first half. So let's spend a minute on the football game. If you don't mind, I'll give my take, then I want to hear yours. This game went exactly according to script. There wasn't one moment I was watching this game on ESPN2 that I didn't think the Saskatchewan Roughriders were going to win. I believed it all game long. I picked them to cover the 2-point spread from betregal.net, and they did. The 400. Look, this is my commentary today. This is exactly the script the Riders have played all along. Cody Fajardo throws some mind-numbing interceptions. Some are off tips. Some are off overthrows. He had to rush for 89 yards. Brett Lowther hit it upright with one of his field goal attempts, but they overcome all of that, and they win their first ever playoff game. Now, it didn't help Calgary's case that Bo Levi Mitchell wasn't good, and if you saw his post-game comments, he wasn't happy with himself. He threw the 2 interceptions, but this is not the Calgary that we're used to. They're a team that would make you pay for your mistakes. And on Sunday, they did not do that to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Now, the Saskatchewan Roughriders know they can't play this way and beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They know that. I mean, that was the first comment from everybody after the game. If they throw 4 interceptions, Jason Vega said this, the former Blue Bomber. He said, don't even turn the bus off in Winnipeg, Riders, if you're going to throw 4 interceptions. It's going to be a quick afternoon. That's not something the Riders need to worry about today. Darren, they won the game. They did everything they had to do to win. They overcame a lot, and they're moving on. Yeah. So bravo to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I literally, as God is my witness, never doubted them for a second in the football game. What was your take?
Unbelievable. I mean, that's Cody, though, right? Isn't that Cody? I mean, no matter what, he's still a big game player. He's a gamer, and you know, overcoming adversity is how you win. You know, there's going to be adversity somewhere. Calgary's had adversity this year. They kind of overcame it down the stretch to get into the playoffs, but they couldn't overcome it on Sunday. The Riders could, and that's what they do. I mean, Cody able to drive down that field and give them the lead and get the game to overtime. And then, yeah, Brett Lowther, what can you say? I mean, he called himself the best kicker in the league, and then he proved it by kicking the game winner at the end. I mean, you don't often see Rennie Paredes miss, but, you know, that was a big moment for Lowther. I guess the question, you know, what was going through your mind when there was the flag on the kick? It ended up being all good. Lowther knew it was good, so that's all that really mattered.
Wasn't concerned because I knew that he'd make the next one.
Yeah.
I really, really did. And we got to talk with Brett and see what it was when he tapped his wrist there like it's time. Do you know what that was about, why he tapped his wrist? I don't know.
No.
He always has those cool celebrations after his field goal, so we'll have to DM him and see what he meant by that. But Calgary, for our Calgary viewers, the Stamps have a lot of explaining to do. You know, Sean Lemon took a swing at Duke Williams. We found out afterwards that he was allegedly spit on. Well, that wasn't called. The spit wasn't called. We don't know whether that happened or not. It's the playoff time. You need to hold your water, as they say in football terms, and not get baited into that kind of thing. So Calgary, yeah, I say the Riders deserve to win it because they scratched it out, but Calgary deserved to lose it with their turnovers, bad penalties, all the rest. So we'll move on and come back to this. I do have some wonderful hockey stories, by the way, from the weekend, too, for our hockey viewers that have tuned in. So hang on. We might not get to them here in the opening block because there's a lot of football and a little curling. But as we look out east, Brandon Banks and Don Jackson scored touchdowns as an opportunistic Hamilton Tiger Cats team defeated the Montreal Alouettes 23-12 in the East Division semifinal. Hamilton rode its defense to victory. The unit forced 5 turnovers and recorded 5 sacks to the delight of a Tim Hortons gathering of 21,892. With the win, Hamilton will now face the Toronto Argonauts next Sunday in the Eastern Final. The Argos won the season series 3-1, and we can spend some time on that. Listen, a lot of my football buddies were like, are you going to the Dolphins game? Are you going to the Dolphins game? Well, as I showed you, I was in South Beach. I'm trying to limit my sports live activities to one event a weekend, if possible. I think I went to 3 Panthers games last weekend. So I came back from South Beach, watched the Eastern semifinal, and my word, bravo, Hamilton. The blackout, if that's what they were calling it, looked really good. Very well-attended football game. The conditions looked abhorrent. And this is another thing where, by the virtue of Montreal's 5 turnovers, the sacks they allowed, I don't know if the Ticats won it. The Alouettes lost it. And there were some people fitting Trevor Harris with goat horns and the na-na-na-na-na-na. You didn't get it done. Well, the portion of the game I saw was dreadful defensive coverage on the back end, drop passes. Trevor Harris was putting the ball right on guys, and they were dropping it. Maybe it was the conditions. I don't know. But the best team won, and now Hamilton goes into Toronto for the East Final next Sunday. And we were talking about this on Friday, you and I. Remember pinball going into the year, sandbagging, going, oh, we got to play Hamilton 4 times, guys. I don't know how we're going to do. And they go out and kick their butt 3 out of 4 meetings. And I expect that's going to happen. We got all week to talk about what's going to happen in these divisional finals, but I think Toronto's going to come out on top. But that should be a hell of a game, too.
It's going to be a hell of a game. And, yeah, I expected more to the Montreal Alouettes. You're right. Too many mistakes in the football game, both sides of the football. And we wanted more to Trevor Harris, too, but it's everybody has to play better. But you're right. This is kind of the game you want, Hamilton-Toronto, for all the marbles to go to the Grey Cup in the East and for Hamilton to go to the Grey Cup at home. So it's going to be great. There's a ton of storylines. Hamilton trying to get back there, but the Argos sitting there waiting. They're looking pretty good, too, in the season series, as you mentioned. So, yeah, it'll be a fun week getting ready for those games.
Well, I think the matchups we'd like to see, if we had our druthers, are one of 2, I think. A Grey Cup rematch, Hamilton-Winnipeg, would be very fitting, I think, from the last Grey Cup, 2019 in Calgary, because the Ticats have a lot of unfinished business. Or, as we talked about, a Saskatchewan-Toronto Grey Cup would be delicious, given the synergies between John Murphy, Chris Jones, and Stephen McAdoo and all those coaches over there.
Yeah.
By the way, I said that we're going to get around to hockey, and we will, but our poll question today for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center, Clark and I came up with this. The big news really in the hockey world coming out of the weekend was Marc Bergevin being fired by the Montreal Canadiens. And we'll probably spend a lot more time on hockey here in the second segment. But the question is, did Marc Bergevin deserve to be fired as general manager of the Montreal Canadiens? I thought I would just throw that in there before we go any further. My vote would be no, but you can't watch SportsCenter or even open up your Twitter without seeing like Montreal Canadiens are off to their worst start in franchise history. So right there you would say, oh, okay, fire somebody.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, their goalie's in rehab. And like, you know what I mean? And he's not anymore. But, I mean, there are some extenuating circumstances for a team that just went to the Stanley Cup final last year. But we'll come back on that. I just wanted to throw in that is our poll question. Our third point in the Quick Six show toppings here is curling. Brad Gushue will represent Canada at the Winter Olympics in Beijing in February. Gushue defeated Brad Jacobs 4-3 in the men's final at Canada's Olympic curling trials. Earlier in the day, Jennifer Jones won the women's final with a 6-5 extra end victory over Tracy Fleury. fitting, I think, that Jennifer Jones and Brad Gushue are going to represent our country. Two huge names in the game. Tracy Fleury was the greatest skip all week, but couldn't get it done in the final. But I see now Gushue and Jacobs have met like around 60 times. Did you get the sense, Darren, that they hate each other when you were at SaskTel Center? Did you? Is there a rivalry there?
They're a little sick of playing each other, right? And, lately it's been all Gushue in that series. And I think Jacobs is a little frustrated. Gushue kind of put him to sleep throughout that game. So I get it a little bit of like a rivalry forming in curling, which is kind of cool.
It just naturally happens. Naturally happens when you meet each other so many times. To the NFL and point 4, Lamar Jackson's 13-yard touchdown pass in the third quarter lifted the Ravens to a 16-10 victory over the Cleveland Browns on Sunday Night Football. Lamar threw a career-high 4 interceptions, believe it or not. And your Titans, because my Cowboys haven't played since last Thursday. Although they are in the news today, COVID outbreak with the Cowboys, because of course there is. And Mike McCarthy isn't going to coach this Thursday when the Cowboys take on the Saints. But Mac Jones threw 2 touchdown passes. New England's defense forced 4 turnovers, and the Patriots earned their 6th straight win, 36-13, over your Tennessee Titans. What is going on with both teams? I'll give you 60 seconds before we move on. You watched the whole game. What is going on with those teams?
Injuries and mistakes. I mean, Tennessee, for whatever reason, almost rushed for 300 yards in the football game. It was wild. But mistakes. You break off a 50-yard run, fumble it. Nobody has dealt with more injuries. The Titans are about to set a record for most players used. And you're missing your playmakers, right? Your top 2 receivers are out, missing a tight end, missing Derrick Henry. You're depleted a little bit on the defensive side of the football. But on the other side, New England's got it all going on. They don't give up big plays defensively. They don't take penalties. They win time of possession, right? They've got a good offensive line. Their defense is pretty good. And Mac Jones is distributing the football. So New England might be the best team in the AFC right now. And Tennessee isn't close, but you get those guys back, and Tennessee could jump back to number 1. So it was that kind of a game.
Well, we're flying through this. We're into point 5. And then we'll break and come back with a lot more time on point 6 and the hockey discussion. But point 5 is the Western Mustangs and Saskatchewan Huskies advanced to the Vanier Cup in very different ways Saturday afternoon. The Mustangs emphatically punched their ticket to the Canadian College Football Final with a 61-6 rout of visiting St. FX in the Mitchell Bowl on Saturday. Western led 23-0 after the first quarter and 51-3 at the half, in front of a hometown crowd in London, Ontario. Shout out London. Got a lot of viewers there. The Huskies, meanwhile, outscored their Carabin 13-1 in the fourth quarter to eke out a low-scoring 14-10 victory in Montreal to claim the UTEC Bowl. Adam Mackert scored the winning touchdown on a 13-yard run with 5 seconds left in the game. And look, what a story these Huskies have become. This whole story. Now the Vanier Cup pits Scott Flory of the Huskies against Greg Marshall of the Mustangs next Sunday at Laval and at the stadium there in Quebec City. And I just kind of feel like we're on board with this Huskies team. You more so than me. You've done a lot more work with the Huskies, and you know the Mackert family well. But what a story. And they're going up against the Western Mustangs, who I'm led to believe could beat the Edmonton Elks if they were to go meet out in the parking lot. It's going to be a hell of a football game.
It's something. It really is. I mean, that game, the Husky game against Montreal, Mason Nias couldn't get going in the game. The offense couldn't get rolling. They used Adam Mackert sparingly. But then as the game wore on, we know this team's a second-half team. They started getting things going. But it was a defensive battle. It was hard-fought. It was tough. But you got 11 seconds on the clock. You're at the 13-yard line. And Scott Flory, who's the head coach and the offensive coordinator, calls a running play. Well, when you got Adam Mackert, he runs it in from 13 yards out to win it. I just thought that was an incredibly confident call, took a lot of guts, and it worked off. It paid off, and it was a really cool moment. Western's interesting, too, because, 2 years ago, it was Western that beat Saskatchewan in the Mitchell Bowl and ended Saskatchewan's opportunity to go to a Vanier Cup then, in which we thought Saskatchewan might have been a better team. So this will be a really interesting game. They're a really tough defensive team, and we know Western can put up some points.
We got a break. We're going to turn the viewers loose when we come back. Some of them have issue with you, Moose, which is a nice change from me. So we'll answer those questions. All of the hockey, when we come back. We'll turn the viewers loose, and we'll start a brand new week of Taco Time Viewer Takeover. Look for the comment of the week for Taco Time. And shout out to Jeff, the Stamps fan, for showing up today after his Stampeders lost out on Sunday in the Western semifinals. So we'll be right back. This has been the warm-up. You're watching the RP Show, back on Game Plus Television today, live streaming on YouTube, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might hit your head. That could cause a traumatic brain injury that, depending on how severe it is, could take months to heal or leave you with long-term effects. Effects like getting debilitating headaches for the rest of your life. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
I started the Shatler Lacrosse Academy 3 years ago, and my main goal for the province of Saskatchewan was to spread the game and the awareness of lacrosse. Jeff Shatler here, number 77 with the Saskatchewan Rush. I currently play forward, 16 years pro. I live, work, and play in the province of Saskatchewan. Direct West's mission is to grow Saskatchewan economy by helping small local businesses win with digital advertising services, but they are also a major supporter of local sport, art, and charitable organizations. Year after year, Direct West continues to put their money where their mouth is, and ensuring the minor sports and art and music festivals can continue to thrive in our province. They continue to do all they can to promote our communities and assist nonprofit charitable organizations in the effort to improve the quality of life in the province of Saskatchewan. I am proud to work with Direct West and call the province of Saskatchewan my home.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of time. Big time, big time, big time.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
All right, welcome back, everybody. RP Show, broadcasting live from South Florida, and the Moose is in the bunker for now. He's going to be on the road again this week. He is in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. I see the viewers are in a good mood to open the new week, and I love that, Moose. You can see the viewer comments, obviously, right up in front of you.
That's right.
And I'll start Taco Time viewer takeover a little early. By the way, Jeff Caldwell of Oregon State was the winner of the comment of the week last week for Taco Time. So he gets a $50 gift card in U.S. funds. How about that? And at Taco Time, online ordering is available. Try it today and get a free burrito on your first order. Use promo code FREEBURRITO when you sign up. We got a big viewership here today, and I know that they want to chat about the CFL. I'll just say this. I was on the Outsiders podcast this morning with Britton Griffiths and Robin Brownlee, two longtime stalwarts of the Edmonton media. And Robin Brownlee came out and he's predicting a Winnipeg Blue Bomber win by 20 in Sunday's West Final. And I said, I'm not ready to go that far. I'm not ready to even really think about it yet. But I will install my own personal betting line, 7.5 favorites, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers over Saskatchewan in the West Final Sunday. I know I don't want to sort of spring this on you, but
no, it's okay.
What would be your points? What would be your point spread?
Be a lot closer, probably closer to 4.5. I'd probably go 4.5 Winnipeg, just because of their dominance throughout the season. They're at home, but things tighten up when you get further into the playoffs, and you don't see big spreads for games like this. So I'd probably go 4.5. I think at 7.5, you'd get a lot of bets coming in on Saskatchewan. So we'll see when they drop, but yeah, I'll go 4.5.
Viewers can see on the screen the text line is open. 902-518-3033 to text us here on the RP Show. And thank you to the hockey fans for hanging in this long into the program, because I'm going to roll into point 6 of the Quick 6 show topics, and that is the NHL is where we'll start. Dmitry Orlov scored on a power play with 2:55 remaining, and the Washington Capitals recovered after blowing a 2-goal lead to beat the Carolina Hurricanes 4-2 Sunday. Michael Bunting, Alexander Kerfoot, and William Nylander each had a goal and a helper, and Toronto beat Anaheim 5-1 to tie a franchise record with its 7th straight road win. Ryan Hartman broke a 2-all tie midway through the third, and Minnesota beat Tampa Bay 4-2. Timo Meier scored on a deflection and added an empty netter. James Reimer earned his 42nd career shutout, and San Jose beat Chicago 2-0. Andreas Johnson had 2 goals and 2 helpers. Jesper Bratt had a goal and 2 assists, and New Jersey beat Philadelphia 5-2. And lastly, Brad Marchand scored the tying goal on a power play in the third period and set up David Pasternak's go-ahead goal, helping Boston over Vancouver 3-2. And as we sit here today on this Monday, Vancouver has still not fired anybody. I don't understand. Montreal, I get. Ish. And again, that's our poll question today for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center. Did Marc Bergevin deserve to be fired as general manager of the Montreal Canadiens? Last I looked, over 60% on Twitter saying yes, he did. I voted for no. But there are more reasons, by the way, and I guess there's no need to belabor last night's games. Let's talk about what's going on today. So Marc Bergevin gets fired. As I mentioned, his goalie was in the player assistance program for over a month and hasn't returned to the ice yet. They're MVP, by the way.
Yeah.
And they were in the Stanley Cup final just last year. But there's more than meets the eye to this. And you said that you were following Eric Engels' Twitter feed this morning, the Sportsnet Canadians reporter. And Eric is saying, well, Jeff Molson, the owner of the Habs, meeting with the media today. And this Logan Mailloux draft in the first round last year seems to be tied into Bergevin's undoing here. That's the sense I got, because you alerted me. You're like, go look at Eric Engels' Twitter feed. So that Molson was asked about it. And while from what I could glean, he didn't say this is why we're firing Marc Bergevin, but it's part of it. And this is the guy that was charged sexual misconduct issue with a teenage girl in Europe. And they drafted him anyways, and there was a lot of egg on the team's face because of that.
Yeah.
So there's more to this than just the Habs being off to their worst start in franchise history, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, there's much more. I mean, you look at that. Now they're going to go to a 2-man system. a GM and the senior VP of hockey ops, Jeff Gordon, which has been hired, instead of just one guy. And Jeff Molson is saying that it's too much responsibility for one person, and so we're going to make this a two-man job. They're both going to run the organization on the hockey side. But this goes back further. I saw a great stat from TSN this morning when I was browsing social media. The Canadians have the 8th worst winning percentage over the past 7 years. There's only 7 teams that have been worse over the past 7 years. Now, Vancouver's one of them. Ottawa, Buffalo, New Jersey, LA, the usual suspects. But Montreal is there. So this hasn't just been a 1-year problem. It's been a 7-year problem for the Montreal Canadiens. Now, they did get to the Stanley Cup last year, but that happens. You get teams that come together at the right time. You add the right pieces at the deadline, but is it sustainable? We had heard from Montreal Canadian fans, even last year they wanted Bergevin fired. And then they go on to the Stanley Cup, and all of a sudden, that kind of erased the memory of the disappointment they had been through over most of the last decade. So I think this was a long time coming. I don't think this is just because of the start to this season.
Before I go any further and talk about Saturday night at the Panthers-Kraken game, which I feel that why it needs to be talked about, I said we were going to get into Taco Time viewer takeover. Donald Mitchell writes in and says, glad to see the U Sports Champions games on CBC Gem. Would be nice to see regular season games on Gem to get to know the players and teams. From Jack Fulton regarding Sunday's Western semifinal, he says, I'm happy for the win for my friend Micah Johnson after losing his dad, Skip. Skip was a great man who I had much respect for. No matter who won in Regina, the Bombers are going to be extremely hard to beat. I picked Bombers versus Argos in the next 2 weeks. Metal Shingle Guy, big Rider fan, writes in. He says, so is an 80% Shaq Evans better than a 100% Rashad Davis or Terrell Jana? Minus 4 yards and not the best blocking receiver they have. He's not been the same since he came back early from a broken foot. I'm just reading it. I'm not really commenting on it. Remember Alan, the intern, who's not our intern anymore, but you remember him?
Yes.
He wants to know if there's any updates on the Jingle soundtrack, the 902-518-3033. Any update on that?
No update, but I have a meeting on it this afternoon, so I will update you in the morning.
Gotcha.
And I'll find out where it's at.
Some of the viewers were upset at you that you said the UTEC Bowl would be on CBC. So Tacona Powley in Winnipeg says he sat in front of his television all afternoon Saturday. No game. WTF.
Yeah.
So how do you respond to that?
On that, it was on CBC, but it was the digital online version. So I guess if it wasn't on your local CBC package, it was on the GEM app, and it was available on cbc.ca. So I watched it on the GEM app on my TV.
Gotcha. Darren in Salt Lake City watching and says Cam Newton is the best rushing quarterback in the NFL, and that got him benched Sunday. Oh, yeah. The Dolphins have won 4 in a row. Fins up, making a race of things in the AFC East. John Kirby in Edmonton says, Rod, Ottawa Senators captain Brady Tkachuk has accused the LA Kings' Brendan Lemieux of biting him during a scuffle in Saturday night's game in Los Angeles. Oh, yeah, John. I'm not an idiot. I watch SportsCenter. And it's in my 10 Things column. I don't know if you had time to read it, Darren, on Sunday. You probably didn't. But I said, I don't know whether he bit him or not, but I love it. I'm here for it. That is straight 90s NHL right there.
Yeah.
Just look at the surnames. Lemieux, Tkachuk. And the funny thing in hockey circles is they're like, Tkachuk was never an idiot like his kids. Well, people would say that about my dad. So what?
Yeah.
Still very, this is Tkachuk Lemieux. This is fun. And if he bit him, look, there's 37 different camera angles of anything that goes on in the National Hockey League or any sports these days. If he did it, it'll be caught on video. And it's funny that he said that because I saw the highlight. I wasn't watching the game, but I saw Tkachuk screaming at the ref, he bit me. It was pretty clear what he was saying, but I don't think there's any video evidence of it.
I don't know if there is or not. Like, I haven't seen it. And you know what? if he bit him, I mean, you can't bite somebody, especially in today's age. With COVID and everything, I don't know if you can spread it through biting somebody, but it's fun for the rivalries. It's fun for the intensity. Get some hate in the game. I think it's good. The hate is good.
I think it's awesome. I have no idea how this came up, but Nelson Hakowicz, our VP of Sim Events, writes in and he says, reading is for rich people. Unfortunately, no one reads anymore. I've been spending my weekend reading this baby, Shawn Thornton's book, Fighting My Way to the Top, and loving it. Shawn Thornton, the Florida Panthers chief commercial officer, is going to be with us next hour to talk about his book and the Panthers, who've got Washington in here Tuesday night, and I'll be at the game. That's a nice segue, by the way. Check how much time we have. Well, I'll make it real quick. It was a big game. 15,300 and change were at Florida Live Arena, FLA Live Arena Saturday night for the Seattle Kraken. And we all thought, oh, this will be a laugher. To quote John Frenzy, no. Spencer Knight starts in goal for Florida, their rookie. At the other end, Chris Driedger for the Kraken, the former Florida goalie who went in the expansion draft. And to make a long story short, let's go in chronological order. Warm-ups, I am down at the glass like hundreds of other little kids, and I'm banging on the glass, taking videos and photos of Jordan Eberle. He sees me, laughs, starts skating over to me, and I hear him go, wow. And he's literally grinning ear to ear, and he comes up and beats on the glass. I have video of it. And, of course, it's COVID times. We can't get anywhere closer than that sheet of glass, but he went out and scored 2 greasy goals, Eberle style, Kraken win 4-1, and denies the Florida Panthers an NHL record 12th straight win to start the season. So they share the record now, 11 straight wins at home to start the season with the 63-64 Chicago Blackhawks. And I said to Ebbs after the game, I can't believe they didn't play Bobrovsky. And Ebbs is like, well, it was back-to-back. Bob played the night before in Washington. I'm like, so what? You played the night before in Tampa, Ebbs? Like, when did this become a thing? These guys played 3 games in 3 nights in junior. And Kelly, Rudy, and I have debated this. Where did this become part of the code of hockey that goalies can't play on back-to-back nights? And what it told me, and maybe Shawn Thornton will discuss this next hour, but that the Panthers weren't as interested in setting an NHL record for a 12-game win streak at home as they were giving Sergei Bobrovsky the night off. Like, I would think you'd throw the kitchen sink at the Seattle Kraken, wouldn't you? Because in the end, I like Spencer Knight, but he lost a goaltending battle to Chris Driedger in the game Saturday night, Darren. So that's my take. Yeah. I'm not even going to ask for yours. That's what went down Saturday night, and the streak's over, and they'll look to start another one Tuesday night when the Washington Capitals come here to Sunrise, Florida. Moose, we'll see you back in hour 2. What do you say?
See you then.
Okay. Our NFL analyst, Tori Gurley, joins us next. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus Television Network, live streaming on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
In the heat of the summer, familiar sounds, feel in the air, it's the best thing anywhere. Just give me back my game. 'Cause I live for the drama, I live for the emotion. No one can take me down, bring me back my football.
BetRegal.net, exclusive sports gaming partner of the CFL.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Quinn.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh, my.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Brand new week opens with the RP Show. On the way, Florida Panthers Chief Commercial Officer and two-time Stanley Cup champion Shawn Thornton from right down here in South Florida. Week 12 in the National Football League has one more game to go. It's the Seattle Seahawks and the Washington football team tonight. Joining us to talk 4 downs and maybe a little 3 downs if we have time is our NFL insider, Tori Gurley, former Green Bay Packer and Cleveland Brown. Hey, Tori, good to see you, my man. Have I talked to you since you became a dad? I don't think I have. Congratulations, man, on the birth of Tori Jr.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been a while, and he's definitely keeping us up. The grandparents were here a couple weeks ago. They came down from Strasbourg, and they were spoiling them, and now we're literally just leaving the doctor's appointment. So I got Kim and TJ right behind me.
Oh, hey, Kim and TJ. Who is TJ's favorite NFL team, by the way? Have we figured that out yet?
He likes them all. You know, I think he's a fan of football. You know, we have him watching, you know, the Canadian League, NFL, college. You know, every chance we get, we always spend that time bonding, watching games together.
Tori, I got to ask you this, and I will not keep you long, but I guess on tonight's Monday night game, the Seahawks are off to their worst start in the Pete Carroll era. They haven't had Russell Wilson for all of it. Washington's on a win streak. Do the Dallas Cowboys have anything to worry about for that NFC East Division crown from Washington or from the Eagles or even the Giants? Anybody in that? Or will tonight maybe tell a tale a little bit of that with Washington?
Yeah, I think the only threat could be the Washington football team. But that division is so bad, they're beating up on each other, and Dallas just, you know, finding ways to kind of escape by. So we'll see, but it is a big game for Washington tonight. Hopefully they can go out and handle business. Right now, Seattle, they're just not looking good. You know, Russ is coming back from his hand surgery. Pete Carroll has, you know, somewhat lost the team defensively. They're not the same team that we've accustomed to seeing on Sundays and Mondays when they can go out and hold opponents to minimal points. They're really dependent on Russ, and Russ, you know, with him being injured, I just don't know exactly how it's going to go. And the run game is just awful for him right now. Like the run game is Russell Wilson, so we will see how it plays out tonight.
Going to be a fantastic football game on Monday Night Football. What teams do you think are trending, for instance, Tori? Like, there's some interesting things going on. What are the Patriots won now? Like 6 in a row. Titans are on a slide. Some very interesting things have turned here in the second half. Which team should the Rams, who should legitimately be concerned after a strong first half and now they're sliding a bit in the second?
Yeah, the New England Patriots are rolling. Everybody wanted to crown Tom Brady and say he won the divorce. And out of nowhere, here comes Bill Belichick and the crew. And those guys they're playing their best ball. And when it starts to get cold outside, and that's what matters. The Green Bay Packers, they're playing well. They look like they're going to be a number 1 seed. And, those are the 2 teams right now are playing the best ball. And everyone else is trying to find themselves. We'll see if Kansas City can bounce back. But I'm totally disappointed in like the Cleveland Browns and the Dallas Cowboys. They had so much hype, and now these teams are somewhat starting to come back down to earth. So it's going to be important for those 2 programs to get back on track, because if not, Cleveland cannot make the playoffs, and Dallas can make the playoffs and get bounced, in the first round. So we will see how that goes.
Cowboys have lost 3 of 4, and as you heard this morning, Mike McCarthy will miss this week's game because of a COVID outbreak. I just think they'll be better without him. So we'll see come Thursday night. A lot of viewers have questions for you, Tori. Jamie Anstey's watching in Nova Scotia. He says, how much longer will Bears fans have to see Nagy in Chicago? Feels like we've been asking you that for a while.
Yeah, Chicago is too cheap to fire people during the year. So I think, once the season is over with, that's when they'll get rid of coach. They just don't believe in, sending you home early and having to pay you. So that'll make you stay the whole 17 weeks. And then, they'll get rid of you on Black Monday, just like a lot of other teams do. But you have some teams that are very impatient and fire guys during the year. So, we'll see how that plays out. But, yeah, Chicago, I just kind of feel bad for him. Justin Fields, extremely talented, but he doesn't have enough talent around him. He definitely doesn't have the coaching staff to build him up. And it's just a struggle. And that defense, they fell apart. Once upon a time, Chicago had a defense that could just keep guys out of the end zone. And now, they're giving up big plays, and they're just not the same team.
Jeff Cabillas in Winnipeg wants to know, hey, Tori, does Green Bay get out of the NFC Championship game if they make it there?
It depends on who they play. I'm still scared of Tampa Bay. I think just the way they're constructed as a team, it's hard for Green Bay to compete with that type of, guys, that caliber of players they have on the other end. But if it's anyone else, I think they have their number. And obviously, Tom Brady, that's what makes this rivalry great between Tom and Aaron. It seemed like Tom just finds a way to just turn it on in the playoffs, and you got to go through him. And at the end of the day, the Bucs are the defending champs. And, until somebody knock them off, I just continue to, give them the upper hand right now. But if Green Bay continues to handle business, and if they get some help along the way with Tampa losing, I definitely could see Green Bay being in the Super Bowl this year.
And I could go on with you all day on this. Aaron doing Aaron things. He threw 2 touchdown passes on whatever that is going on his foot. They beat the Rams 36-28. It just seems like he just has fun toying with the media and jerking people around. Has he always been that way? You played with him. Wasn't your locker right beside his? He just seems to get off on this stuff.
Yeah, Aaron, he knows how to play to the crowd and to the media, and extremely smart guy, like very smart. And, if you read too much into it, he'll make you look bad. So the best thing with him is just allow him to go out and compete. I wouldn't try to piss him off, because that's when he plays great. And sometimes he does that to kind of get fired up, just to hear people talk bad about him, just so he can have some bulletin board material to go out there and prove people wrong. So, but at the end of the day, he's a great teammate. I have nothing but great stuff to say about him, because literally he's one of the reasons why I'm on this show right now, is because he gave me a chance to make that roster back in 2010. So, we'll see how it works out for the Packers, but I'm definitely a fan of Aaron and that organization.
One more NFL and hopefully some CFL if we can squeeze it in. The LA Rams were constructed to play in the Super Bowl in their own stadium this February, and they're 7-4, but they've lost 3 in a row. Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, OBJ now. They made the trade for Matthew Stafford. They weren't supposed to lose 3 in a row, Tori. Like, they are going in the wrong direction. What is going on there?
I think the loss of Robert Woods is tremendous. You know, he's a top 5 receiver in the NFL. Now, most fans or people who follow, fantasy football, they're like, that guy, who is that guy? But literally, people who know football, it is hard to, get ready to match up against Robert. That guy can run routes in a slot. He can run routes from out wide. He blocks. He makes all the critical catches. He's not just a guy that, makes the big play, but he also does the small things, and that's what makes him such an asset to that team. And when he went down with that ACL injury, now, it's forcing the Rams to do things differently. And obviously, when you bring in all those new players, it takes time. It's chemistry. Just because you put a super team together doesn't mean they're going to go out and be able to play like a super team. They're going to be great on paper, but you still got to go out and play the game. And, Matthew Stafford, he is improving as a winner. He's extremely talented, but this is the time of the year where people want to see, can he compete with the elites? He has the body, he has the arm, but he hasn't got it done in the regular season. It hasn't done in the postseason either. We're going out getting those big wins.
Tori, this has been wonderful. We've reached the end of our time. I always enjoy our time together. My best to Kim and TJ again, and stay safe and good luck to the little man.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Our NFL insider, Tori Gurley, joining us. We'll be right back with a viewer takeover. We'll get into that CFL stuff. Viewer takeover brought to you, of course, by Taco Time. And the number's on the screen to text us, 902-518-3033. Brand new week means we're starting all over again for our comment of the week for Taco Time. We'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might sprain your wrist, or even fracture it. A severe wrist fracture can take at least 2 months to heal properly. And it can cause you to develop arthritis that keeps you from doing something as simple as picking up your child without pain. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit aurorarecoverycenter.com for more information today.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Quinn.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh, my.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is time for the Taco Time viewer takeover. Taco Time wants you to know they're not tater tot. They're Mexi fries. And to that I say, are you sure? Because they have the exact same consistency as tater tots. And they're all great. Just before we do turn it over to the streets and our viewers, here's what's going on today. Montreal Canadiens owner and president Jeff Molson says running the hockey operations of the storied NHL team is a multi-person job, and that will be the approach going forward. Molson addressed reporters today after a front office shakeup on the weekend saw the dismissal of 3 top Canadiens executives, including general manager Marc Bergevin. Molson said the search is underway for a bilingual GM that will work in tandem with recently hired executive VP of hockey operations, Jeff Gorton. And as I told you weeks ago, that next GM will be Mathieu Darche, the current VP of hockey operations of the Tampa Bay Lightning. You heard it here first. Weeks ago, I heard Chris Johnston say it on SportsCenter this morning. You're welcome. The poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, by the way, is, did Marc Bergevin deserve to be fired? And at press time, last I looked, over 60% of respondents saying, yes, he did. I voted no. Also this morning, Dallas Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy has entered COVID-19 protocols and won't be on the sideline for Thursday night's game in New Orleans. McCarthy, who has said he's vaccinated, will be involved in all meetings virtually and will direct game preparations, the team said today. McCarthy is the 6th Dallas coach or staff member to be sidelined for the game against the Saints. This sports update is for Ballers Rec Room. Check out our brand new line of games. Book your group or Christmas party now for the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, where you'll never need to ask to have the CFL games put on. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. Last minute of play in hour 1. Regarding my earlier story of spending time with Jordan Eberle of the Seattle Kraken here in South Florida the other night, Jeff Caldwell, watching in the state of Oregon, Redmond, Oregon to be exact, says, Ebbs is my favorite Kraken. Last week, the Kraken defeated Washington, Carolina, and Florida. Is that enough to escape the bottom 5? Stay tuned. By the way, I had to laugh. The Kraken stayed down here in South Florida until today, where they're going up to play the Sabres tonight, even though they've been off since Saturday night. Just a little extra time in the sun. Buffalo, sunrise. Buffalo, South Florida. Randy in Winnipeg says, morning, Rod and Moose. Watched the Caps Hurricanes game yesterday. Had a playoff feel. Is Ovi the early MVP? We'll talk about that next hour, plus more CFL here on Game Plus. Ryan McCarthy watching an.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
I started the Chat Lacrosse Academy 3 years ago. And my main goal for the province of Saskatchewan was to spread the game and the awareness of lacrosse. Jeff Shatler here, number 77 with the Saskatchewan Rush. I currently play forward, 16 years pro. I live, work, and play in the province of Saskatchewan. Direct West's mission is to grow Saskatchewan economy by helping small local businesses win with digital advertising services, but they are also a major supporter of local sport, art, and charitable organizations. Year after year, Direct West continues to put their money where their mouth is, and ensuring the minor sports and art and music festivals can continue to thrive in our province. They continue to do all they can to promote our communities and assist nonprofit charitable organizations in the effort to improve the quality of life in the province of Saskatchewan. I am proud to work with Direct West and call the province of Saskatchewan my home.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Ryan McCarthy, watching in upstate New York, says, why does Saskatchewan have the best town names? Paradise Hill, Moose Jaw. Well, he says Flin Flon, and that's actually Manitoba. And frankly, I'm partial to Medicine Hat.
How about that?
I also learn something every day. We learned today that Flin Flon, Manitoba stands for Flint Tibeti Floniton, a fictional character from a 1905 novel.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It sure is. Welcome to Hour 2 of your favorite sports talk program. It's brought to you by our friends at Great Western Original 16 Beer. And, oh man, I hope you are all having as much fun as I am on today's program as we welcome in the Moose. He is in the bunker in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. And Moose, let's wait until later on in the week to divulge your latest stop, if that's okay. But are you getting, I would think that you're getting excited for it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll wait a couple of days before we divulge where you're off to next.
Sure.
I don't know if you were watching the tail end of Hour 1, but Randy in Winnipeg was watching, and he says he was watching the Caps Carolina game last night, which the Capitals won another one. And Washington is sneaky good, if you've noticed. It's sneaky to us that aren't around that metropolitan area, I guess.
Right.
But his question was, is Ovi the front runner for NHL MVP? And I thought, holy smokes, man, I never really thought about it, because in Canada, and obviously you see that I'm watching SportsCenter 24/7, just like I do at home. We just get inundated with McDavid, Draisaitl, take a break. Austin Matthews, Draisaitl, McDavid. Like, it might be Ovi. Maybe that should be tomorrow's poll question. He's got to be up there, man. He's not leading the NHL in goals, but he's second with 19 behind Neon Leon, and he's not playing with McDavid.
That's true. That's true. And, you know, what he's done to that group in Washington, he continues to be their leader. All these years later, after getting drafted and being the, you know, superstar in the league, he continues to do that. You know, we're not talking about Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin as much as we used to, but, man, they're still playing at a high level, and Ovi might be it. That'll be an interesting poll question tomorrow.
By the way, get the comments in, folks. We've opened a brand new week. Make it good, and you'll be in contention for the Taco Time Comment of the Week, brought to you by our friends at Taco Time with Viewer Takeover. Now, coming up later on this hour, I'm very excited. Shawn Thornton will be with us. The Chief Commercial Officer of the Florida Panthers will be with us. He's got this new book out, Fighting My Way to the Top. And when I walked through the door the other night, it was the Philly game. Chrissy, I can't remember if she met me at the door with the book or if she came down to my spot in the press box, but she's like, here's the book. You got to read this before Shawn's on.
Yeah.
And I'm about halfway through this, and I'm just loving it. I'm loving all of it. I go to FLA Live Arena the other night, and the arena staff's fist bumping me on my way into the building. That was for the Kraken game. I'm like, this is amazing. So before I get to the CFL talk, we got a lot of viewers tuning in that want to chat about what went down Sunday and look ahead. And by the way, the lines have been posted, Moose. They've been posted for the division finals already. But because I'm not as averse in the business world as you are, and I could say this for Shawn Thornton, but I want to ask you, what would the Chief Commercial Officer do? Because that is Shawn Thornton's title. Now, he was a fighter in his days in the NHL as a player, two-time Stanley Cup champion. Well, what would the Chief Commercial Officer do?
That's a good question because there's so many interpretations, right? Are we talking about like commercials, like radio and television commercials that we're used to seeing?
Probably not.
Or are we talking about commercial business, right? Yeah, very interesting to hear about Shawn's role with the Panthers and a little bit more about what he does. That's for sure.
Very excited to have him on later on, and thanks to the Panthers for doing it. Now, do you remember what I said I would install the betting line at for the Western Final? Well, here they are. Are you ready?
Yes.
Just for spits and giggles, let's start with the Eastern Final. Because yesterday, Hamilton advanced in the semifinal, beating Montreal 23-12 at Tim Hortons Field. They've advanced to play the Toronto Argonauts at BMO Field next Sunday. I don't care as much about that game, obviously, as the Western game. And I have the point spread here. What would you put it at? Toronto at home.
Toronto by...
beating Hamilton 3 out of 4.
Yeah, Toronto by 2.5 or 3.5. Probably 2.5. 1?
Toronto by 1. Toronto by 1.
Whoa. I'm feeling more confident about my West one.
Yeah, well, okay, here's the point spread for the West Final at IG Field next Sunday. Santa Claus is going to be there, by the way. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are favored by BetRegal.net by 7 points over the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
You nailed it.
Ding, ding, ding. Can we get some Rick Regan sound effects in here, please? How about that?
Oh,
maybe not.
Good one, Rod.
There we go. It's good. I got you, Joe. I just wanted something. Clark is not with us producer Clark, as he attends to an urgent family matter. And our thoughts are with him, by the way, because it is serious. So Jordan's doing everything. He's flying the ship. He's playing the sound effects. Hey, and let's just settle in on that for a second, because it is Canada's daytime sports talk show. And it is the end of November. That means CFL playoffs. Winnipeg Blue Bombers let's really get into it, because we did talk about those semifinals yesterday last hour. Let's talk about it again. Saskatchewan in double overtime beats the Calgary Stampeders 33-30, surviving 4 interceptions by their quarterback, which I guess Sunday was the day to do that because Lamar Jackson did the exact same thing for Baltimore, and they still won. But anyways, coming out of the stadium, the Riders were hearing, oh, you can't do that against Winnipeg or you won't have a chance to win. They know that. It took them 60 minutes plus more to beat the Calgary Stampeders, and they did it. But I was on that Outsiders podcast this morning, based out of Edmonton, with Bryn Griffiths and Robin Brownlee, and Robin predicted Winnipeg will win by 20 because he just thinks Saskatchewan doesn't have it in him to do it. It's going to be tough. Look, Darren, I mean, if you're the Riders coach or coach what are you scheming to win this game on Sunday?
You have to get your playmakers the ball in time and space. You have to control the clock. But more than anything, I'm stressing, we have to be mentally prepared. So we can't take penalties. We have to lock into our assignments. The mental preparedness, because more so than Winnipeg, Saskatchewan can't afford to make as many mistakes. Winnipeg's good enough to overcome a mistake or two. No team can overcome, too many mistakes, but Saskatchewan will have a tougher time with it just because they're the underdog, and that's just the reality of the situation we're in. So you have to be mentally prepared. You can't have mistakes, and penalties can't kill you in the football game. And then Saskatchewan's got a shot.
Well, yeah, and Winnipeg's sitting there having not played on semifinal weekend. They've had a bye, so they're rested. They're getting healthy. Mm-hmm. I'm just checking in on the comments here and see what's popping, because we do have a lot of people tuning in today. They want to talk about the fact that Mexi fries are not tater tots, and I'm just not so sure about that. But the thing with Winnipeg is they can beat you every way. I know we got a lot of viewers watching on Bell MTS cable in Winnipeg right now. They know. They're sitting there nodding their heads. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are bullies. They're not what we got accustomed to over the years with the Calgary Stampeders, where they're just patient and they'll wait for you to step in the trap. They'll wait for you to turn over the football. They'll wait for you to miss a block, right, and get your quarterback killed. Winnipeg plays downhill, and they're bullies. And so I'm just looking at Saskatchewan going, you can't come in there and try to finesse them. You can't come in there and try and win the line of scrimmage. You're not going to do any of those things. And to try and go in and play a perfect game, all of a sudden you clench up, because that's nearly impossible too. That's why I think I had Winnipeg favored by 7, because it's just going to be a major mountain for the Saskatchewan Roughriders to climb going in there. And all year long, what did Winnipeg finish? 12-2. The only complaint all year long their fans had about their team was their kicker. And then they went out and signed Sergio Castillo. They literally have no faults, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Any last thoughts on that before we turn it over to some of the viewers?
You're right. There's no faults, and that's why Saskatchewan has to, limit the mistakes, limit the turnovers, obviously, but penalties are big. And then you're just going to have to, ask your guys to make a couple of plays, big plays. We had a kick return touchdown in the game by Morrow. That was big. You'll need big plays like that if you're going to win. And that's what makes this fun, is because it is a little bit of David versus Goliath.
Welcome, everybody watching on YouTube today, plus Game Plus television across all 10 provinces and 31 states. From our VP of Sim Events, Nelson Hackowicz writes in and he says, Andrew Harris is questionable for the final. Now that there is more on tape on Brady Oliveira, that might be the Riders' best break. I don't think it matters. Winnipeg rolled without Andrew Harris, the reigning Grey Cup MVP and top Canadian. Justin Wolf watching on YouTube says, how about some college football, since you're such a huge Crimson Tide fan? How about it? They're still in content. They're still rolling. This is the one thing, Darren, maybe you can help me with.
Yeah.
Is I get on a daily basis more immersed in this American college football culture. And maybe the viewers can help me out. The Miami Hurricanes on Saturday destroyed Duke. I think it was 47-10. Now, the last time I was here in September for 3 weeks, every time I turned on Sports Talk Radio to Miami, they all were talking about Manny Diaz, the head coach of the Hurricanes. He's a dead man walking. They're terrible. And at that time, they were bad. But they rallied, and they concluded their regular season with that win. And now they're going to be, I don't know what their final record was. It was around 500, I think. And they're like, we're going to be in a bowl game, but we don't know who against or where or even what bowl. And I'm sitting there going, is this just American football media culture that they want the coach fired all the time? Which I understand, because we live that too, where we're from. But I'm just like, how do they discern in NCAA football who gets into a bowl and which bowl and who they play, especially if you're a bad team. I guess my point is all fall they've been talking about firing Manny Diaz and who's going to be the next guy, and the Hurricanes athletic department's a joke, and they don't have the guts to fire anybody or hire anybody good, and all of a sudden they're going to a bowl game. Don't you just naturally assume that if you're going to a bowl game, you're good? Like that's what I'm going to spend. That's what I'm going to spend the week trying to figure out today, or a week trying to figure out this week, is this bowl system. And I'm hoping over the next few weeks I'll be attending some bowl games. That'll be fun. I've been to a few in the past. Yeah. None over here on the East Coast. But can you shed some light on it?
Bowl games have different criteria. Sometimes it'll be the team who finished first in this conference versus the team who finished first in that conference from the other, conference, or they'll have it figured out, right? Third place in this division against fifth place in that one. Each bowl has a different criteria. And then, you end up playing where you're playing. So that it is confusing because it's not like traditional sports where you have a regular season, then you have a playoff, and based on where you finish in the regular season, you play teams you've played, and you work your way through a playoff. It's different. So the national championship is different from all the bowl games, it feels like, because those are all based on conference play. And we're going to have a lot of those conference championships. The SEC championship game this weekend with Alabama and Georgia. You're going to have the Big Ten championship game with Iowa and Michigan. So you're going to have some of these really big games. And then the college football playoff feels like it's this extra thing, based on what happens during the regular season. It's confusing, but it is a lot of fun to follow it. I'd prefer to just, follow the playoff, the conference championships, and then when the bowl games happen, see which one's on my TV at Christmas and watch that.
Well, of course. And Justin was out. Well, I don't understand why he was. Did you see his comment? He was writing in all caps. He's like, "You're tied." I'm like, do we need to quote Shooter McGavin again? Yeah, we went to overtime in the Iron Bowl against Auburn, but I'm sorry, we were too busy winning. What's the big deal? I got the Associated Press story up in front of me right now. Pushed to the limits, Alabama delivered plays to celebrate in a stadium that has produced a few devastating losses over the time. The result was an unforgettable Iron Bowl. John Mechie caught a scoring pass from Bryce Young in the fourth overtime to give number 3 Alabama a 24-22 comeback win over rival Auburn on Saturday, rescuing the Crimson Tide's national title hopes. It was the first ever overtime game in the Iron Bowl. Nick Saban saying after the game, the coach of Alabama, quote, "Wow, what a game." They're 11-1, and we're sitting here worried.
The only
yes.
Yeah. Well, the only issue I have with it, with everything, is you got the SEC championship game. Georgia's undefeated, ranked number 1 in the nation this weekend against Alabama, right? I think the rankings come out on Tuesday. But Alabama, I think, was number 3 going into it. Maybe even moved up to number 2 against Alabama. Now, whoever loses this game should be out of the college football playoff. And that's the big debate is like Georgia, if they lose once, can they still be in the college football playoff? When it's this late in the year and you're playing a rival, a team that's near the top of the country, it is a playoff game. So if you lose it, I don't think either one of them should get a second chance. So I think whoever loses this should be out of the college football playoff. So it will be fun this weekend for you.
Yeah, well, of course. I'm just looking at the comments here. Tacona Powley and Winnipeg. Tide are still in the top 10. Yes, probably number 2 this week, I would think. As you said, the ratings aren't out yet. Jeff Cabillas in Winnipeg. Georgia defense is going to be geared up for the game against Bama. They need this one bad. We need every game. And Jeff goes on to say, hey, the Taco Time Bowl between 2 6-6 teams. Look, we're going to break and come back, and we will talk about whatever the viewers want to talk about. We'll start whatever. CFL, NHL, NFL, whatever you want. But I think you've known this because you've been riding shotgun with me for a long time. But I'm really enjoying learning these new things. Like, listen, I'm a farm kid from a town of 640 people in rural Saskatchewan. So don't at me that I'm not totally familiar with the bowl system. And also, showing up at the Florida Panthers arena and having their staff drop off this book and say, here, read this. Shawn's coming on your show next week. Shawn Thornton, their chief commercial officer. This is exciting stuff. learning new things. Isn't that what we're supposed to do, Darren?
Very exciting. Very exciting.
Rhetorical question. We'll be right back. Load up the comments and the text as well. 902-518-3033. You're watching the RP Show. It is Canada's daytime sports talk show, and you are watching on the Game Plus television network, YouTube, live streaming, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might hit your head. That could cause a traumatic brain injury that, depending on how severe it is, could take months to heal or leave you with long-term effects. Effects like getting debilitating headaches for the rest of your life. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Smoky in the air, it's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln.
In the heat of the summer, familiar sounds. Feel in the air, it's the best thing anywhere. Just give me back my game. 'Cause I live for the drama, I live for the emotion. No one can take me down, bring me back my football.
BetRegal.net, exclusive sports gaming partner of the CFL.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Quinn.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh, my.
Hey, Rod Squad. Now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show. Official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Laid back and kicking it. Let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. RP Show continues. Hour 2 brought to you by our friends at Great Western Original 16 Beer. Made with premium Saskatchewan ingredients. Original 16 is unfiltered for peak flavor. Coming up later on this hour, Shawn Thornton, the Chief Commercial Officer of the Florida Panthers. Very much looking forward to that as we bring the Moose back in. He is in the bunker in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle that is situated right smack dab in the middle of Winnipeg, Calgary, and Edmonton. To the text line, Joe Lazito writes in. He's watching in Long Island, and he says, hey, Roddy, Joe Lazito here. If you could read this during your chat with Shawn, I'd love to. Thordy and I go way back to his days in St. John's. I'll save that for when he's with us. Jeff Caldwell, watching in Oregon, says there are way too many bowl games. The minor bowls are sparsely attended. Tim Fury is watching. He says, glad you brought up the bowl stuff. I've been trying to figure it all out. My Gamecocks are bowl eligible and not sure where or how. Maybe Tori Gurley could have helped us out. LOL. I can shoot him a text and say, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm just sitting there going, I'm listening to the Hurricanes getting trashed on their own radio broadcast all fall, and now we're going to a bowl game. And you know, Darren, that if they win it, they'll all get big, huge, splashy rings, and they'll go in the pantheon of the Hall of Fame. It just seems like they've gone too far with these bowl games in college football.
Yeah, it seems like,
what do you think?
Teams just getting in a bowl game just to say they were in a bowl game. So just have another bowl game, and now our bad season wasn't so bad. You know, like, we made a bowl game, so congratulations to us. It does mean something to these programs to get to a bowl game, but at some point it's going to be too watered down if it's not already.
Well, like I said, you can just see them winning the Beef O'Brady Bowl and all getting huge honking rings that would have been saved for the Super Bowl back in the day, you know? Wayne, yeah, go ahead.
I Googled it. There are 42 bowl games with 84 bowl spots available for 130 FBS teams in 2021, not including the College Football Playoff National Championship game. Teams with a 6-6 or better record are bowl eligible, but teams that are 5-7 can be given consideration if there aren't enough bowl eligible teams after the season ends. So 500 gets you in.
I was hoping you were going to give me enough time to go to the big board, which is my score app in this instance, and just see exactly what the final record was. What's today's date?
29th.
Today's the 29th, right? Oh, it's going to take me literally forever. Oh, here it is. Miami Duke. Miami finished 7-5, and they were literally trying to tie a tin can to Manny Diaz, the head coach. I don't. But hey, it's football in America.
Yeah.
Serious. Wayne in Victoria, BC. Hey?
Big deal to get to 500 and get to a bowl game, I think.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Wayne in Victoria, BC writes that he says, hi, Rod. That weekend had some pretty good games, especially the Stamps Riders West semifinal with double OT. I was concerned with the amount of fans in the stands. Thoughts? Well, heavens knows we've kicked that one around enough. All fall, or really since we kind of got back to normally playing in our favorite leagues. And you turn on the television, which I did, and you see a half-empty stadium at Saskatchewan. It's a concern. Hamilton looked much better attended. It really did. Maybe it was the blackout. Everybody was dressed in black. I don't know what it was. But I can tell you this. Saturday night, Panthers game, I mentioned it earlier, 15,305 in the house. Legit. The game before, I told you, Philadelphia Flyers were here the night before Thanksgiving. It was rocking.
Yeah.
There had to be 13,000 plus here. Dolphins have played to a sellout every game all year. 80,000. And I just don't want to keep kicking a dead horse because you know the sports people in Canada, they don't want to talk about it. A great example was the Edmonton Elks last week with their news conference. A week ago today, blaming everything for their poor attendance but themselves. Oh, COVID, vaccination passports, mobile entry, this and that and the other thing. What do you want us to say, Wayne? What should we say? Where the games I'm going to, they're jammed, and the teams are winning, and it's not a thing. I don't even really want to talk about it, but you are more than welcome to.
No, it's a concern for sure. I mean, they announced 24,000 at the game last night here in town.
Oh, they did?
And there wasn't that many. I mean, you're right, half full. The whole upper deck was empty. The one end zone was empty, but it was still loud. And the sports bars were still full, and there's things going on. But it's an issue. I don't know if it's an issue of in this market not connecting with the fans locally to get to your games, because I think, when you were talking about the Riders, they're still doing well across the country in terms of TV numbers. So there's still interest. The logo still has a lot of cachet and a lot of fans, but for whatever reason, having trouble converting that into butts in the seats, and it's a problem across the CFL.
The comment that triggered this here on Taco Time Viewer Takeover was Wayne saying, I was concerned with the amount of fans in the stands. I guess if everybody that was talking about it, that they're concerned, bought a ticket and went, we wouldn't have any reason to be concerned.
That's right.
Brady writing us on the 902 text line, hey, Rod, Riders will have a fun time next weekend trying to win against the Bombers, but in football, anything can happen. All you need is luck, but I don't personally see it happening. And he goes on to say, Bergie being fired was 11 years in the making. Don't know how he managed to remain the GM throughout the 11 years tenure. That is a good point. And it brings up the Capital Automall Universal Collision Center poll question. Did Montreal Canadiens general manager Marc Bergevin deserve to be fired? Hashtag go Habs go. And currently on Twitter, 68% of respondents saying, yes, he deserved to go. It's just fascinating timing to me. You go all the way to the Stanley Cup. You make some pretty astute signings. Corey Perry, Tyler Toffoli, Josh Anderson scored some big playoff goals last year. Your goalie goes into the player assistance program. Your MVP here this fall, and you're off to the worst start in franchise history, and now you get fired. But again, because we kicked this around last hour, Darren will bring you back in. I mean, you've been following Eric Engel's Twitter feed. It sounds like this has far more to do outside on-ice activity. Fair? And nothing, nothing improper, but this drafting of Logan Mailloux really seems to... might have been the thread that just unraveled everything.
Yeah, it absolutely might have. And one of the comments that came out was that this is too big of a job for one person now in the organization. So they want to go to a two-person model. And I think that's, a direction that's probably a good one. But it's been going on for a while. You talk about that move. The product on the ice over the past decade has not been very good. They've been, they have not been perennially a contender or a playoff team. The Stanley Cup was a bit of an anomaly. If they had a good season, that might have been what saved them if they came back and played well this year. But it was an anomaly, and it kind of just hid the problems that have been going on in the organization. So now it's time for a change, a new direction, and we'll see who comes in as the GM. But it sounds like they've got their guy who's going to be leading them down the stretch. He's not named the GM. He's senior vice president of hockey ops or senior president of hockey ops, but I think they've got their guy.
Who, Jeff Gordon?
Yeah.
Mark my words. I wrote it a month ago. I'll go back and find it at rodpedersen.com. I said the next general manager of the Montreal Canadiens will be Matthew Darche. And we talked about it on this show. The current VP of hockey operations with the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's the guy. And Chris Johnston dropped his name on SportsCenter this morning, too. And the other thing is, you remember last year, this show was at the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
Do you remember the coverage? I won't say who, but said, no, this Montreal team is not a flash in the pan. They are built to be good for a long time.
And here we are.
What do I always say? Here we are. What do I always say? Don't listen to that stuff. Right. It's bunk. The American viewers perking up. Doc Turner watching in San Francisco. He says, hi, guys. One brother for the Roughriders outcoached his other brother with the Stamps. Why don't they bring the backup quarterback for the Stampeders? At least he's a running quarterback. It's a good point. Bo Levi Mitchell having to answer questions about his future after the Western semifinal loss last night and his 2 interceptions for the Calgary Stampeders. But when you got Dave Dickinson coming out, the head coach, saying, we want him back, we expect him back, why wouldn't he be back? He's only 30. Guy could play 10 more years in this league. So something's not right. But I don't think that the Calgary Stampeders are looking at throwing the baby out with the bathwater, as they say.
Yeah.
Jeff Caldwell, watching in Redmond, Oregon, he says Washington State finished 7-5 after firing its coach midseason due to no vaccination. The Cougars get to go to the Cheez-It Bowl versus Air Force. Yes, that's a thing, says Jeff. Where's the Rick Regan sound effects? Drop one in there on that, please, Jordan. Yeah.
Oh, good one, Rod.
No, not me, Jeff. That was a good one. And Sean K is his handle from Vancouver. Sean in Vancouver says the RP Show should sponsor a bowl game.
We did. It was in a video game.
Approved.
Yeah, what did we call the RP Bowl? Is that what we called it?
Yeah, it was like the Rod Pedersen Show Bowl or something like that. It was in the video game, the CFL video game.
Well, if we were going to sponsor a bowl game,
yeah,
would you want it to be a U Sports Canadian University game?
Oh,
like the Wheat Bowl that nobody has latched onto other than us?
That'd be
Saskatchewan,
cool.
Regina, or would you rather be an NCAA football bowl game? Or the way you think, why not both?
I was just going to say, let's do both. Let's have a Canadian and an American one. That'd be the way to go. I think that would be a lot of fun, to have a...
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, is our next guest ready to roll, Jordan? Okay. Moose, don't go too far.
Okay.
But we're going to take a timeout. I know for a fact we'll see you back here for overtime. You're watching the RP Show. It is episode number 622 of Canada's daytime sports talk show. We'll return in a moment on Game Plus Television Network, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit aurorarecoverycenter.com for more information today.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Juggling all kinds of things as we go here on the RP Show on this Monday. Trying to set up, technically, the Florida Panthers chief commercial officer, Shawn Thornton. And for those that don't know, I'd be surprised if you didn't know. In the National Hockey League, 705 games with the Blackhawks, Ducks, Bruins, and Panthers, two-time Stanley Cup champion, and an original draft choice of the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 7th round back in 1997. Director Jordan telling me they're just having some connection issues with Shawn Thornton, so we will get to him momentarily. And it's funny, since I mentioned that I've been reading his book, Fighting My Way to the Top, which I'm almost through, and we'll be talking about that with Thordy. And I put this on my social media. I've had all kinds of messages come in from his friends. For instance, Scott Barney, the head coach and general manager of the Humboldt Broncos, says, "Hey, Rod, hope all is well, my friend. Please say hi to Thort when you're talking to him this week. Great guy, one of the best stories out there. Wasn't drafted into the OHL until his second year of midget. Toughest customer to ever put the gloves on. Signed, Barnes." We got him, Jordan? What's the word? Not yet. No problem. We've got... Moose is here. So many questions or comments have come in on the text line. I had the one from Joe Lazito. Here it is. He's watching in Long Island. If you could read this during your chat with Shawn, I'd love it. Thordy and I go back to his days in St. John's. We've lost touch since he's retired, but he's always been one of my favorite people. The reason why Thordy is two-time Stanley Cup champion and current CCO of the Panthers is his work ethic. He never quits, even when the odds are stacked heavily against him. He's the ultimate teammate and ultimate leader. In an increasingly negative world, if someone is looking for inspiration, they need look no further than Shawn Thornton. And again, I think that's why the title of his book is Fighting My Way to the Top. And the foreword is by Tuukka Rask. And if we can bring the Moose in here, and I really feel bad for Director Jordan because I think he's a one-man band back there, unless he's got Rolf helping him out. We do, yeah. So, Darren, you'll get a kick out of this. I'm reading the foreword by Tuukka Rask. You'll really get a kick out of this. I thought of you.
Yeah.
Tuukka says the two of these Cowboys bought a boat together when they were playing for Boston. And Tuukka said, the two best days of your life are the day you buy a boat and the day you sell that boat. You still want a boat?
That's pretty good. Yeah, I've heard that too, and I've heard the best situation is have a friend with a boat. So I do want to have a yacht, but maybe I just want to have a friend with a yacht.
Have you figured out yet what the chief commercial officer does? I figured that because you're so much more bigger into titles than me. You're the LinkedIn guy, CEO, COO, CFO, VP, chief commercial officer. I'm just very interested to find out. And it's kind of sad that we're having connection issues right now with Shawn Thornton. I'm not sure we're even going to be able to get him onto the air. But he's the kind of guy, after reading enough of his book, that you obviously win Stanley Cups with. He's won 2, but you find a way to make him a spot in your organization. You know what I'm saying? You would get that.
For sure. And I mean, we're not talking about television or radio commercials, even though we joked about that. Commercial officer. He's the one who oversees all the Panthers ads that run on TV across, South Florida and on radio. But that's not it. It would be more commercial business, commercial strategy, from the business perspective, somebody who would oversee it at an executive level, commercial strategies and commercial operations. That'd be my guess.
Well, while you're sitting here, and I mentioned that I was on the Outsiders podcast this morning out of Edmonton, and I predicted the line for the West Final would be Bombers by 7. Robin Brownlee, the host, thinks that the Winnipeg will win by 20. We dabbled over into the NHL, and the guy said, what are your big NHL stories so far? And I said, quite frankly, sitting here in South Florida, it is the plight of the Florida Panthers, chasing history, the Seattle Kraken snuffing it out the other night, and how that game all went. But it kind of put me on a spot a little bit. Because when you're immersed in a market, that's really all you see. You get it, right? We talk about that being in the Bermuda Triangle all the time, where we're normally situated. What are the big stories to you in the National Hockey League to this point, to this U.S. Thanksgiving, Mark?
I know, the Blackhawks still remain a big story for me. Not the scandal, but the play on the ice. That was a huge storyline, obviously, of the year, but we're talking about the on-ice play, just how they've played or how they haven't played. The Anaheim Ducks continue to be a bit of a story with the way they've played, although they had a bad one last night against Toronto. For me, that's it. Vancouver continues to be a storyline that we follow very, very closely. Now we're hearing the Canucks are reaching out to potential coaching candidates to replace Travis Green, but they still have Travis Green as their coach. So Elliot Friedman's kind of reporting now that, Claude Julien's been asked permission to have that conversation, but we don't know if they're going to go down that road. Scott Walker's name has come up, but they don't really want to go down that road. So nothing's going to happen in Vancouver until they have the next guy lined up and ready to go. So imagine being Travis Green in that situation.
Oh, why does it not surprise me? And I remember over the years, we've had general managers. I'm thinking about with a hockey team, with the Pats, not as much in the CFL, but that have fired coaches without having the next coach lined up. And that's never like in season that you have to have the next coach lined up. But we've had guys in the offseason, GMs in the offseason that have fired the coach. I'm like, who's the next coach going to be? Don't know. What? How can that be?
Yeah.
I think you could see both sides of it. You're interviewing, hiring, and firing people all the time. I guess you know that you don't want this guy, so you make the move and then you just wait and see who applies, or you target them. But if what's going on in Vancouver is true, what Elliot's reporting, and if he's reporting it, I'm sure that it is, just tells me what an absolute disaster they are as an organization and why they are where they are. But you can see where there would be merit to, I guess, both positions, having your next guy lined up or not having your next guy lined up.
At the very least, you have to have a plan. You have to know where you're going, right? At least have a plan ready to go. And maybe the plan is interim coach, and we're going to take our time. The only reason you'd want to have your guy lined up right away is because you don't want to waste any time. Well, this Canucks team, I don't think they need to be worried about wasting time. I kind of feel like the season's over. Now, maybe they think that they've got enough talent in the locker room and they've got enough tools to work with that if they bring in the right coach, they can get this thing back on track in time to not lose the rest of the year. So that's the only reason I could see having a guy lined up and ready to go. If not, then you make the move and you start the search and you make plans to really get going for next season. But so we'll see.
Okay. They tell me that we got Shawn logged in. Do you want to take a commercial now or you want to roll with Shawn now? Okay. We're going to take a timeout and be right back with the Chief Commercial Officer of the Florida Panthers, Shawn Thornton. Thanks for sticking with me, Moose. We'll see you in a bit. We'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus television network across all 10 provinces and 31 states. Live streaming on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might sprain your wrist, or even fracture it. A severe wrist fracture can take at least 2 months to heal properly. And it can cause you to develop arthritis that keeps you from doing something as simple as picking up your child without pain. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RPShow gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RPShow gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the RP Show, broadcasting live from South Florida, and we appreciate the patience of Shawn Thornton. We only have him for 5 minutes. For those that missed it earlier, 705 NHL games, 2-time Stanley Cup champion. He is now the Chief Commercial Officer of the Florida Panthers, and he joins us from the team facility this afternoon. Thorny, I appreciate it. With everybody, all your hockey buddies, seeing that you were coming on, I have some messages that I was asked to pass along. Well, Scott Barney's one. He says, are you guys from the same hometown, or did you play together? The current head coach and GM of the Humboldt Broncos, Scott Barney?
Both. Yeah, we're from the same hometown, and we played together in junior. Known Barnes since he was
That's what I thought.
Young kid, yeah.
What a great guy. He says, great guy, one of the best stories out there. Wasn't drafted into the O until his second year of midget. Toughest customer to ever put the gloves on. Joe Lazito in Long Island says to say hi. Before we get into your story, Shawn, what a time to be with the Panthers, man, on the cusp of NHL history, and couldn't get it done against Seattle the other night. What was your take on that 4-1 loss at FLA Live Arena?
I was running around from suite to suite, seeing different prospective partners and premium clients and looking at game press. So I can't give you my perspective on the game because I didn't get to watch much of it. I'm so far away from the hockey side of things now, trying to run as much as I can here on the business side, that it's very rare that I actually get to sit down and focus on what's going on in the game. Unfortunately.
Well, perfect political answer there. And I guess a lot of people wondering, what does the chief commercial officer do? I guess you just explained that. It's the business side of an NHL team.
Correct. So I oversee partnerships, most revenue streams, marketing, content, game pres, foundation, community outreach, all that stuff reports into me.
I was trying to chase you down, by the way, to get my book signed. Shawn Thornton, Fighting My Way to the Top. I guess I'll have to track you down on Tuesday now. But I will say this. I saw you in the press box during the Philly game. Who makes your suits, Shawn? Because it looks like you're still working in the steel plant, man. Although they have to be custom made.
No, they're not. I have some customs, but I usually, I don't want to give anyone a free plug here, but they're fitted. They're customized, but not custom. But I appreciate it. Wait, was that a compliment or a backhanded compliment? I'm not sure.
No, it was a compliment. I'm just like, holy smokes, how does he fit in those things with those? Anyways, to the book.
Still trying to stay in shape. I work out every day. I break even. I just want to stay close to my playing weight.
That reminds me of the stories in your book. I'm about halfway through this and I'm loving it, about your lovely wife getting you to be focused more on the physical training side than the off-ice side and all of that. Why did you write a book? Shawn, what's the story behind this?
I was asked 3 times, or I declined it 3 times before I eventually said sure. I have a unique story. This is how it was proposed to me. A unique story. I fought a little bit of adversity to get where I was at. I was always probably the worst player on every team I played on, and ended up having a very successful career that I'm happy about. So if somebody that, is looking to quit or is unsure of how they're going to get there, if they can take this and use it as motivation for them to fight through adversity and have some success, then part will be, I genuinely think people should be involved in the community. And if you're lucky enough to have a platform, you should use that platform to give back. And I think those are the 2 main things coming out of this.
It's unbelievable. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The only thing is it makes me long for the old style of hockey. And I don't just mean on the ice, just the way things were done when you were coming up in the game. And it's not the way that it is anymore. But I got to ask you, and I know I don't have you for long, your mom, absolute beauty. I never thought my son would make it as a hockey player, or I'm surprised he graduated. He never even tried in school. Tell me about Christine Thornton. We're all proud of our moms. She is something.
Straight shooting comes from the top in my household. If you've read part of that book, you'll see that my mom, my dad, myself, my wife, all cut from the same cloth. You always know where you stand, whether you like it or not. And yeah, she's very honest, to say the least. And she's not wrong. I mean, I didn't really try, and became fairly easy to me, so I didn't figure I had to try that hard. I wasn't that focused until I needed to be focused. But yeah, no. Listen, I'm surprised to be where I am right now as well. But at the same time, it took a lot of hard work to get here.
Well, of course, and I completely understand it. It was just nice because as big as your head may have ever gotten, your mom very clearly was there to ground you, and I love those stories of this. Listen, I know you got to go, but I'll just say this. Obviously, the Panthers said this is a guy that we need in our organization, and it seems like they found you a role, and you're excelling there. Like, again, you don't win by accident, so it seems to be a real nice fit. How much are you enjoying being with the Panthers right now, and your role, and what do you see ahead here in the immediate future for this franchise?
No, I love my role. I'm very fortunate that ownership and our CEO thought I was smarter than I and gave me the opportunity. I guess it's like no different than the playing career, right? If you do the work, be resilient, then you can be successful. So try and stay humble, just like I did when I was playing, and figure out a way to be the best at whatever my job description might be in that day. So I'm very fortunate. I have a lot of people around the league that have helped and mentored me. I mean, Luc Robitaille, one of my first calls on the side was, don't be corporate, like be yourself. That's your most important attribute is yourself. And, I've had Cam Neely, a bunch of people I've reached out to and really helped me get to where I am. So fortunate to have that network, fortunate that I was thinking about it while I was a player to set myself up to be where I am now. And really lucky to be in this situation.
Well, congratulations on the journey so far and the rest of the way. I will track you down tomorrow night to get this signed. This has been quality over quantity. I appreciate the time, Shawn. Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Florida Panthers Chief Commercial Officer joining us from the Panthers facility. And yeah, the connection, not the best this afternoon, but certainly good enough. And the book is Fighting My Way to the Top from Shawn Thornton, available at all bookstores near you. Okay, so we are in overtime right now. I don't know if the Moose is gone, and that's fine. He's gone? Okay. Director Jordan telling me that's fine. I can handle it. So overtime is brought to you, of course, by our friends at the Four Seasons Sports Palace. Your home for the National Hockey League, the UFC, and the Seattle Kraken fan club. And I actually got a note here from the Greek freak, George Yanitsos, down at the Four Seasons. He says, dare to dream Super Sunday at the Palace. The Riders upset the Bombers in the West Final. 3 p.m. this Sunday. Big screen, big sound. Then later, the Leafs whoop the Jets. And loser Pag is sad, sad, sad. Woo, that's from George at the Four Seasons. Fighting words. He says, you know where the CFL is on the big screen and all the NFL Sunday and NHL action is. It's up week, baby. That is from the Greek freak, Georgie Yanitsos, checking in today. So, quite a show. It went by in a blink. Last minute of play in the RP show. Boy, how did we get onto this? Darren Workman in Salt Lake City, Utah writes in here in overtime, and he says, is this the last CFL game in Toronto on Sunday? Do you know something that I don't or that we don't? Why would we think this is the last ever CFL game in Toronto? We're going to have to delve into that tomorrow. Adam in Hamilton says, please have Bob Young on ahead of the Grey Cup. Good idea. Producer Clark not with us today as he tends to a family matter. But, yeah, we'll be previewing these division finals. We got the Grey Cup upcoming. Thanks to Shawn Thornton for joining us today, Tori Gurley, and all of you. We'll see you tomorrow at noon Eastern right here on the RP Show on Game Plus Television. We don't know what we're doing.
Let's go. Hot take. Bingo. Spicy. Oh, I like it. Good one, Rod.